but I'm trying to be very specific with it. I don't just put people just for the sake of putting people on this list. This is very important for me. The best extract of what I've learned myself. So you can really go deep in this one as well. Every single goal. Do I actually know what to do now? Well, kind of, but I can actually go even further. Hi guys, welcome to Yogipreneur, and today we're going to continue creating our business plan together. Before we dive into it, remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to hit the bell so that you don't miss out on the future videos and the future steps to business plan and a lot of useful content you can use later for your business. In the last video, we talked about the first few steps to creating a business plan. And we kind of set our mind as to what the purpose is, and we started creating our vision statement and mission statement. I hope that over the week you have developed your vision and mission statement so that now you have it, now it's really clear for you. And with that, now we can move forward. And in today's video, we're going to set up an action plan for you. To do that, we're actually going to need a mission statement. Let me remind you mine. To learn and do practices connected to health and wellness of mind, body, and spirit from different cultures, to pass on the valuable knowledge to a community of like-minded people so that they could carry on and share it further, creating a larger community. That was my mission statement, and I have developed it for myself a couple of years ago, and that's what I've been following. So some of the steps I have already taken, some of the steps are actually never ending in my action plan, and I'll show you those today. So first of all, if you have created a really good mission statement, all you have to do to set up the goals for yourself is to just look at your mission statement. And I'll show you from mine, I see 3 goals in particular. The first one will be to learn practices connected to health and wellness of mind, body, and spirit from different cultures. And essentially this goal could be just to learn, right? If we want to kind of shrink it in size, the first goal is to learn. The second goal from the mission statement that I can see for myself is to do practices connected to health and wellness of mind, body, spirit from different cultures. And again, if we want to kind of concise it, all I have to say here is to do practices, right? To actually practice what I've learned. And the third goal comes from the last part of my mission statement, and that would be to pass on the valuable knowledge to a community of like-minded people. So those are 3 goals, and I think that they're pretty clear. They're very easy to find in my mission statement, and that's what I'm going to write for my goals. Underneath this video, you will find another worksheet document, and I encourage you to download it because that's going to help you tremendously in creating your setup, in setting up your action plan. And if you're looking at the document right now, then the first page is going to ask you to write down your mission statement, which should be a piece of cake for you because you already have it, and then to identify 3 goals, which I just showed you how to do. Super simple. You can underline it from your mission statement and just concise it and put it in those boxes with the goals. So let's get a little bit more specific, and we're going to get specific identifying our objectives, the actual steps we need to take to achieve every single goal. And for this, I encourage you to look at every goal separately. So let's take my first goal, and the first goal is to learn, right? What are the steps I'm going to have to take to get to that? The first step that comes to my mind is to actually identify the practices that I'm going to learn, which is, it sounds like duh, right? But yeah, you have to identify the practices that you're going to learn. And I'm just going to start creating something like a graph for myself, right? So from this goal, I'm just going to put 3 lines, and the first one I'm going to say identify the practices, because I like to go in 3. I like to set up around 3 objectives for each goal. That's usually my minimum, and then if I want to create more, I go ahead and do that. And I encourage you to do the same. 3 is usually the optimal one so that you are narrow enough, you're specific enough to know exactly the steps that you want to take. So my first objective for the first goal is going to be to identify the practices. But is that all? Is that enough for this objective? Do I actually know what to do now? Well, kind of, but I can actually go even further. So from your objective, actually from every single objective, I encourage you to grow further, to go a little bit deeper. And here, I'm going to specify for myself. I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, I'm going to identify practices in yoga, meditation. I'm going to learn nutrition. I told you about those. So you just go ahead and you kind of branch out your tree and you get deeper and you get smaller. From there, I'm going to look at every single one of them, and maybe I'm going to go even further. For example, in yoga, right? I'm going to write that I want to learn Vinyasa yoga, right? And then maybe I want to get into Ashtanga yoga. Maybe I want to get into Kundalini yoga. And I'm going to start writing, I'm going to start growing from there. And this is how you want to go to the smallest, to the very details, to the very steps that you can take today. Take your time. That's actually fun and that's very exciting because you're getting to the bottom of your goal and you're creating this ladder. You're creating those exact steps that you're going to be taking to eventually get to your success, whatever success means to you. So take your time with it. Don't be lazy on that. All right, we're still on that first goal, but we have created our first objective and we have branched out from there as deep as you want. Let's look at the second objective now. For me, the second objective would be to research the market to ensure that I get the best education, that I'm learning from the best. And here, what you can go further in, the list is endless, and for me, it always changes. What I really did for myself here, I just branched out and I started writing all the trainings that I want to get into. As I was researching, I was like, all right, I want to go into this one, I want to go into that one, I want to go into this one. At the moment, it's a huge list. And I try to take at least one new training every single year. And so far, I've been taking more than one every year, but at least one, that's my minimum. And that's something that I have created for myself to ensure that I keep learning and I keep getting the best education there is on the market. So with this objective, I just keep branching out as much as I can every single year. And when I see something new there, I just add. When I see something new on the market, I just add to that list for myself. It never ends, and I hope it never will because it's so interesting. I love it. It brings a lot of excitement for me because I love to learn new stuff. All right, again, we're still on that first goal, but now we're moving to the third objective. And for myself, my third objective here, I kind of touched already on this, and that's going to be to make my personal education an ongoing process. And that one, I just put different ways I can do it. And those are workshops, those are trainings. And again, I'm just adding on to the list. So the second and the third objective, they kind of go together. So I can put them in some ways together, right? I can use that list that I created for my second objective. I can use it here, but here I can also add some workshops, maybe some people I want to learn from, and just go even deeper, going to even more details on this. If you have more objectives for your goal, for your first goal, more than 3, it's possible. You can do it. And just keep going just like that, just growing your tree, getting smaller and smaller, getting into more specific steps with every single word you write on the piece of paper. Let's get into the second goal that I have. And this one is about due practices. So this tree for me is a little bit smaller than the previous one. And I'm just going to show you 3 objectives that I've written down for this goal. And then, yes, I do branch out from them sometimes, but not too much. I look at it, and then if I see that there's something I want to add, a specific step that I want to remember to take, I'm going to write down. If I don't, I just have it there, and every time I look at my action plan, I'm like, all right, well, I haven't done that in a while. I should keep doing that, or I should do it again, or something like this, right? So here are my 3 objectives for the second goal, which is due practices. The first one is to find places to practice. workouts. And that might sound ridiculous, right? But we can practice at home or something like this. But it's actually, for a lot of people, that's a stop. That's where they stop. Well, I don't have anywhere to practice. That's it. And I'm one of those people. If I don't know where I'm practicing, I'm not going to practice. And for example, with nutrition, one of the big stops, the thing that kept pushing me backwards and not letting me learn, is I'm like, all right, well, where am I going to practice all that? Where am I going to cook? I don't have a big kitchen. What's going to happen there? So for me, I have to identify places where I'm going to be practicing whatever it is that I learned. And this one, if we're talking about nutrition or cooking or something like this, I have to find a kitchen for this. So I'm going to start writing down different options. Maybe I'm moving to a bigger apartment, right, for that. Or maybe I'm going to go to my friend's house. If we're talking about yoga, am I going to do it at home? Am I going to do it in my living room? Am I going to go into a studio? Write that down. Find out. So for myself, this is a very important step of this action plan, to figure out where is it that I'm going to practice whatever it is I'm learning. Second objective in this goal would be to find teachers I will be practicing with. Right? And this is very important for me as well. This is a part that I've done research on in my first goal, right? Doing all those actions to get to my first goal. So I have to identify teachers that I'll be able to practice with. And maybe some of them are far away. So maybe it's going to be through online platforms, or maybe I find some inspiring teachers in my area. And I just always write down the names of people that I want to practice with, of people I'm practicing with. That list is actually not long, because I'm very picky about who I'm taking knowledge from and who I'm practicing with. But I'm trying to be very specific with it. I don't just put people just for the sake of putting people on this list. This is very important for me. So as you can see, those objectives, you can branch them out, but sometimes you just put down the list under them and that's enough. That is going to be up to you. The main thing that you want to know is exactly what is it that you're doing. If looking at your action plan, you know your next step, you did a great job. That's it. Good. Let's move to the third goal that I have, and that one is to pass on the knowledge. What are the steps that I'm going to take to get to this goal? The first thing I want to know is, where is that community? I want to identify that community of like-minded people to pass the knowledge to. And that's going to be my first objective. And how am I going to identify that? Probably through marketing and research, right? So I'm going to put two different branches, marketing and research. And as you can imagine, marketing is going to branch out quite a lot. Same as research, actually. I'm going to start taking all these different steps to research and to find like-minded people who are going to be willing to listen to me and to learn from me, who are going to trust me in my knowledge and trust me that I'm giving them the best extract of what I've learned myself. Second objective to get to my third goal would be to identify the ways I'm going to be passing on the knowledge I've acquired. And again, that is going to branch out. And we talked a little bit about it in the previous video as well, when I was talking about how I'm going to be getting to what I want, right? And at that point, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted, but how, right? So these are going to be the exact steps. This is going to be much more narrow, but I'm still going to put kind of the same words here. First is going to be in person, and second is going to be online, right? But from there, I'm going to go deeper. From in person, I can put classes, I can put workshops, I can put trainings, I can put retreats. From online, I'm going to put YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Zoom, all these things. And then from there, I can actually go even further. For example, you already know my YouTube, right? I have two. I'm passing on knowledge for students, and I'm passing the knowledge for teachers as well, with two different YouTube channels. So you can really go deep in this one as well. And then the third objective that I have for my last goal would be to create a structured teaching plan. And what does it mean? That might not mean a lot for you, but it means a lot for me. I have to create a teaching, because you can't just come out of a teacher training, right? You can't learn something from someone and then the next day go ahead and teach someone that. That's impossible, right? You have to do it in steps. So for example, as a yoga teacher, first you graduate the teacher training, then you start doing classes, then you get a little bit more detailed when you start teaching private classes, maybe private groups, then you get into workshops, retreats, and then eventually you're going to get into teacher trainings. I talked about all those different ways a yoga teacher can go in one of my videos that I'm going to link up here in the cards as well so that you can watch it. But I want to have a really structured teaching plan. What is it that I'm doing? What after what, right? Am I going with teacher training? Am I going with workshops right now? If I'm going with workshops, am I doing it locally? Am I doing it globally? So I am creating a very structured teaching plan so that I know exactly what step is going to follow what, so that I know how is it that I'm going to pass the knowledge to the community of like-minded people. As you can see, setting up action plan can go on and on and on. But I encourage you to do that, and trust me, you will find that bottom. You will find that smallest steps that you're going to be taking. So don't be afraid, even if it sounds or looks overwhelming right now, just dive into it and create those steps you can start taking as soon as today to get to your success, to get to your end goal. And the last part of setting up your action plan, if you look at your worksheet, that's going to be your milestones, or as I call it, timeline of success. That is going to be different for every single one of you. And it's going to be very easy to create if you've done your goals and objectives, and if you've pushed your objectives to the max, if you dissected them so much and you know exact steps. This milestone thing is going to be very simple. What I want you to put there is steps, not all of them, just the steps that you're most excited about. And think about realistically, when is it that you can get to them? I like to put 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and then year and a half, 2 years and 3 years and 5 years. But you can go in smaller, you can go in bigger gaps. Doesn't matter. But what I really want you to focus on is to put things that you're excited about on this page. Things that you will be willing to celebrate once you achieve them, and things you will be looking forward to. So this is like, I don't know, almost like a birthday calendar, right? It's something that you will be really looking forward to celebrating, and something that you will not just be, all right, well, yeah, of course I did it, but no, you will be just jumping up and down for that. And for example, when I first started, one of the things on my milestones list was to get into a split. I thought that it was going to help me as a teacher, going to help me as a practitioner. I do think it helped me maybe in some ways, not tremendously, but it did. And especially in my head, actually, because it's all in our head. And that was something I was so excited to celebrate. And yes, I didn't achieve it in 3 months as I put for myself. I achieved it in, I want to say 6 months or so. But once I did it, I was so happy, and I went out and I celebrated, and it was just a huge, not a party, but for me, inside me, that was a huge party. So you want things like that. You want things that make you smile. You want things that make you want to work for. Put them on your timeline of success. Put them on your milestone list, and look at this list sometimes, not every day. Don't worry about it too much. But sometimes to check in and see how far you've come. That's going to help you go further and further and never stop. So I really hope that this video was helpful for you, and once you've completed all these exercises, once you've done all the steps, you will know exactly what to do to get to your success. In the next video, we're going to finish our business plan finally, and you will have a roadmap for your success. You will have a real life business plan for your own business. Isn't that exciting? I know, I'm so excited for you. All right. So I really hope to see you in my next video next week. The videos are coming out every single Tuesday. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to hit the bell. Comment below to let me know if you have any questions. And like the video if you liked it. And I hope you did. Make sure you let me know about that. I'll see you next week.